we're going to be having a look at January 2024 Principles of Business Paper 1. Now, this paper is being done in preparation for your POB Paper 1 examinations. Alright, guys, so let's begin. So, question 1. Private enterprise is run mainly to, as we all know, create profit. Good job, answer A. Question 2. Which of the following is not a function of money? The answer for this, question 2, should be D, indivisibility. Question 3. Which of the following forms of payment is considered legal tender? Best answer here, guys, should be B, bank notes. Notes on coins, as you all know, are legal tender. Now, question 4. Which of the following statements is not true? Well, after reading through A, B, C, and D, the best option here should be B. Public sector businesses are not required to pay taxes. That is incorrect, guys, meaning that is not true. Therefore, that should be our answer. Good job. Question 5. A post-dated check, as you all know, is a check that is dated for future payment. Answer should be A. Here we go. Moving on to question 6. The main objective of a trade union is to encourage as you all know, the advancements of the welfare of members. Answer should be C for question 6. Moving on to question 7. Selecting the objectives and procedures for achieving goals is referred to as definitely planning. D as our answer. Question 8. In which of the following categories would subsidized meals for employees falls? Well, subsidized meals, these are all included as perks or, as you all know, fringe benefits. A. Moving on to question 9. Mrs. Lloyd, the manager of LM Limited, holds regular staff meetings to listen to ideas from employees before making decisions that will affect the future of the company. This is a democratic leadership style, guys. B, democratic. Awesome. Question 10. Richard has been an employee of MTSL for over 10 years. He is due for a promotion at the end of the year. However, manager's nephew, who was recently hired, has been promoted ahead of Richard, and upset Richard has taken this issue to his trade union. This conflict is as a result of A, guys, unfair practices. Moving on to question 11. If employees are dissatisfied with working conditions, the trade union representative's first action should be, of course, to have discussions with human resource to sort out the issue. Great job. Answer should be B. Moving on to question 12. One way in which an entrepreneur contributes to economic development is by creating jobs for citizens. Definitely correct, guys. 12. Answer should be A. Moving on to question 13. In which of the following situations is collateral most needed? Collateral is needed when we actually borrow money from financial institutions. Answer should be C. There we go. Question 14. An entrepreneur who wants to maintain control of a business will be advised to establish a business as a sole trader. Sole trader is that person who owns and operates a business on his own, makes all decisions. Question 14, answer is A. Question 15. Which of the following elements will not be included in a feasibility study? Well, within a feasibility study, you will include profitability, you will include your target market, even market demand, but B is the one that stands out. Ethical issues will not normally be included in a feasibility study. Question 16. Which of the following is not an element of a business plan? We all know this, guys. The one that is not an element will be a legal plan. There we go. 16, answer A. Moving on to question 17, a purchase order. Alright, guys, now we're into documentation. A purchase order is simply a document offering to buy goods from suppliers. D. Here we go. Moving on to question 18, which of the following statements represents a contract? Mr. Adams places a sign for sale sign his bike. 7-year-old Kevin sells his bike to Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams sells a bike to 7-year-old Kevin. Or 7-year-old Kevin's mother buys a bike from Mr. Adams. The best answer there, guys, is D. Here we go. Moving on to question 19. In establishing a contract, invitation to treat is normally misinterpreted as an offer. Good. Make sure you guys remember that. A. Question 20. An essential feature of a valid contract is that, well, after reading through A, B, C, and D, you guys would remember a contract, valid feature of it should be offer and acceptance. The best one that indicates that offer and acceptance is D. Offer has been accepted by the offeree either in writing or orally. Good job. Now moving on to question 21. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a cottage industry? Well, C. Mainly automated is definitely not a characteristic of a cottage industry. Moving on to question 22. The location of an extractive industry is least affected by? Answer for question 22 should be A. Its proximity to large shopping areas. Question 23. Which of the following types of capital is used for day-to-day operations of a business? Capital used for day-to-day operations will include your working capital. 23 answer should be D. Moving on to question 24. The amount of labor available for productive activity is, as we all know, this will include your labor force. A as your answer. Question 25. Subsistence production is best described as producing goods for, well, we all know this one as well, D. Personal use. Good job. Moving on to question 26. Joel has just bought a dye factory because he wanted to ensure that he received a regular supply of dyes to make tie and dye scarves. Which type of linkage is Joel engaged? So he actually went and purchased a dye factory so he could get the dye to make his scarves. Therefore, this is a perfect example of backward linkage. See, guys. Moving on to question 27. Which of the following outcomes is least likely to result from growth in an organization? Answer will be C. Increased communication. Question 28. Which of the following is a major function of consumer organizations? Well, consumer organizations, their main function is to educate customers about their rights and responsibilities, so D is our answer. Good job. Now, question 29. Which of the following gives identity to a specific producer's goods? This should be brands. Alright, guys, let's move on to question 30. Which of the following types of trade is a hire purchase method of buying most likely to be used? Well, hire purchase is normally used in the retail sector, guys. Good. Good job. Question 31, answer. Let's go on to read the question first. Which of the following factors is least likely to influence consumer behavior? Consumer behavior will be influenced by lots of things such as income, price, spending patterns, but C, household size will not likely influence consumer behavior. Moving on to question 32. Price discrimination may best be defined as, well, charging different prices for the same product, so answer there should be D. Moving on to question 33. Which of the following items will not be considered consumer goods? Look at the question, guys. Not. Well, this was a pretty tricky one, but after reading through all these suggested answers, the best option here is C, stationery used in the accounting department. Now, the accounting department is one of those departments or functions of a business. Therefore, this is not a consumer good. Good job. Moving on to question 34. Which of the following actions is least likely to be described as good public relations for a company? Best answer here for question 34 should be C, reduction in prices to retailers. Moving on to question 35. Which of the following documents issued by a carrier shows ownership of imported goods? We all know the answer for question 35. BOL, guys, D. Moving on to question 36. Katie's car dealership wants to transport car parts from St. Lucia to Trinidad. Which of the following methods is best suited for transporting car parts? Car parts are pretty heavy and bulky. Therefore, the best way to transport these parts are via sea transport. Here we go. Letter B, sea transport is our answer. Question 37. Item 37 refers to the following links in distribution chain: wholesaler, consumer, manufacturer, and retailer. Which of the following sequences shows the correct order of the distribution chain? Well, we all know manufacturer, then wholesaler, then retailer, then consumer. So your best option there will be C, 3, 1, 4, 2. Nicely done, guys. Moving on to question 38. Which of the following types of providers are FedEx and DHL? We all know these are third-party logistics providers. B is our answer. Moving on to question 39. A supply chain is best defined as the, well, we saw this question coming up already in previous papers. Answer should be C, network of resources involved in moving products from suppliers to customers. Question 40, acronym GPS. You guys know about this. GPS is your global positioning systems. A is our answer. Moving on to question 41, an instruction given to a commercial bank to make regular payments of fixed amount to a named person is definitely called your standing order. C. There we go. Moving on to question 42. Tina invests her savings by buying shares in a company. From this investment, she's expected to earn dividends. D. Which the following financial record shows the assets and liabilities for John's grocery store? Assets and liabilities, as you all remember, will be shown in your balance sheet. B as your answer for question 43. Moving on to question 44. One of the major functions of a central bank is to issue notes and coins. We all learned this. Answer is A. The central bank is owned and controlled by whom? Well, we all learned this again. Controlled and owned by the government. Answer A as well. Question 46. Which of the following institutions facilitates the sale and purchase of existing securities? Shares, guys. Shares are normally bought and sold on the stock exchange. D as your answer. Moving on to question 47. Financial investments can best be defined as A, B, C, or D. After reading them through, we all know investments are those assets that will generate income. Make investments, earn income, guys. A as your answer. Question 48. Subsidies refer to? Answer here should be C. Grants provided by the government. Moving on to question 49. Which of the following forms of taxation can be classified as direct? Well, direct taxes will be your income tax. A. Question 50. Governments can encourage business activity by definitely reducing taxes. A as well. Question 51. Education contributes to economic growth by ensuring that the workers are highly efficient. Good job again there. C as your answer. Moving on to question 52. Which of the following measures could be used to protect the environment? Recycling, yes. Deforestation, no. Water conservation, yes. 1 and 3. Best option here for 1 and 3 for question 52 is B. Question 53. Inflation can best be described as C. General and sustained rise in the level of prices. Question 54. Export licenses are issued mainly to, well, we all know the export licenses are issued by the government, and the main aim is to enable the government to control the flow of goods being exported. Answer there should be B. Question 55. The increase in skills and abilities as a result of education and training is referred to as, we all learned this, D. Human resource development. Moving on to question 56. Which of the following factors are likely to affect the standard of living in a country? High crime rate, low literacy rate, reduction resources. All those will affect the level of wealth and standard of living in a country. Therefore, answer should be D. 1, 2, and 3. Question 57. The introduction of technology in the production process may affect society by, well, once technology has been introduced in terms of automation and so on, jobs for unskilled workers would be reduced. B is your answer. Question 58. Which of the following methods can the government use to reduce unemployment? And the best answer here for question 58 will be D, to impose employment levies on firms. Good. Question 59. A major function of CARICOM is to, well, a repeat question as we normally see. B, foster intra-regional trade and common services. And finally, guys, for question 60, economic dualism, as you all remember, simply looks at one industrial, one sector being advanced, the other not being so advanced. Therefore, A, uneven sectorial growth. There we go. All right, awesome job, guys.